it was sort of fate of us reconnecting, because we connected when you were first on my podcast that I had a while ago.
Right.
And
That's
then
right.
we went and did a ruck around the art museum and stuff like that. And it wasn't until I reached out to you to talk to you about this, because I didn't really have anybody that I knew that I could relate this to. And basically what happened was I'm here for the Sedgley Open. So it was like a few years ago, I believe now. I mean, time's flying. And I was practice round. I mean, it was a beautiful day. Nice breeze. I mean, there were butterflies flying in the meadow and stuff. And one of the holes is they call it cliff house. So it comes out of the woods and goes across the meadow. And then the basket is tucked back in like all these trees, which is pretty cool. So I threw my shot and I walked up to go to get my second shot. And I thought I saw somebody behind the basket. So I was like, oh man, somebody must be out here practicing too. And then I was kind of looking and I was like, oh, maybe he's actually like cleaning up the area because we have to get ready for, maybe he's putting more out of bounds stakes in, but it wasn't moving. And so hey man, I'm going to make this shot. Yay. Hey, I'm flipping my disc, and then there was no response. And I was like, this is really weird. I took 2 steps forward and then I realized his feet were about 3 feet off the ground.
92.5% of the people who watch this show have not yet subscribed. That is not okay on the I Am Not Okay channel. If we are going to grow and change the way that life is done, we need you to speak up, step up, and show up. And that starts with hitting the subscribe button. And if you're able, please comment, like, and share any and all episodes. Now, on to the show. Welcome to Bear It All, the Kintsugi Chronicles, here on the I Am Not Okay channel, where we gather our broken pieces in search of gold. My name is John Bear.
I'm Jeremy Palmer.
And today we have a very, very special guest with us, the man behind the curtains who's been helping us with the new production here, the Wizard of Oz himself, Mr. Justin Michaud.
Hey,
Justin,
hey.
Welcome.
how you doing, brother?
Good, guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool to be on this side of the show.
Yeah, very cool. You've been seeing all of it from the opposite end.
Absolutely.
And to have you come out from Michigan. We know you used to live in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and
South Philly.
You came from Maine, right?
Yeah.
As I understand. And what I have Justin on today because the truth is a big reason that we even have visuals. We sit here and we say the I Am Not Okay channel.
Yeah.
A big reason that we even have visuals, when I was a few years back when I was really starting to kind of just think about this and put it together, the thing that kept coming up in my mind was, has anybody ever asked you if you're okay? And you said yes when you knew that you weren't. And as soon as I said that to Justin, he had reached out to me and he was like, yo, I'm working on some projects and I wanted to know if you have anything. And when I said that to him, Justin, do you remember what you told me?
Yeah, it was sort of fate of us reconnecting, because we connected when you were first on my podcast that I had a while ago.
right.
And
That's
then
right.
we went and did a ruck around the art museum and stuff like that. And then
Yes.
just after, we just kind of lost a little connection.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I reached out to you to talk to you about this, because I didn't really have anybody that I knew that I could relate this to. And basically what happened was I'm here for the Sedgley Open. So it's the 2025 Philadelphia Disc Golf Open at Sedgley Woods, which is a really fun tournament to play. So it was like a few years ago, I believe now. I mean, time's flying. And I was practice round. I mean, it was a beautiful day.
Yep.
Nice breeze. I mean, there were butterflies flying in the meadow and stuff. And one of the holes is they call it cliff house. So it comes out of the woods and goes across the meadow. And then the basket is tucked back in like all these trees, which is pretty cool. So I threw my shot and I walked up to go to get my second shot. And I thought I saw somebody behind the basket. So I was like, oh man, somebody must be out here practicing too. And then I was kind of looking and I was like, oh, maybe he's actually like cleaning up the area because we have to get ready for, maybe he's putting more out of bounds stakes in, but he wasn't moving. And so hey man, I'm going to make this shot. Hey. I'm flipping my disc, and then there was no response. And I was like, this is really weird. I took 2 steps forward, and then I realized his feet were about 3 feet off the ground, and he was hanging from a branch behind the basket. So he used the basket to step up on to get, and that was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. Immediately started crying. It's a really weird thing to see. I've only seen that shit in movies.
Right.
Yes.
And now it's like anything that involves people being hung.
It's hard to see. Yeah.
And I questioned myself calling you because I didn't want to bring up any bad memories for you.
This is true. We had talked about this, and I don't know that I've said it out loud, but my brother hung himself.
And I just immediately thought of you because I knew that's something you went through in a similar sort of situation.
Yeah.
So that was really rough. Needless to say, I did not play well at all, especially when I popped up to that hole. It was just in my head the whole time. That's all I could see is him.
Yeah.
And kind of when I still play it now, I look at that tree and go, damn, dude.
So,
damn.
You're going to be there this weekend.
Yeah. Right after this, I'm going to go there and play a practice round.
Yeah.
And then I'll be there on Sunday. So it doesn't really affect me anymore when I look at the hole. It's just, I know.
It was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody else knows besides the people that they saw me bawling and crying like, what happened? And I was just like, don't go back there. Don't go back there. Please don't go back there.
Yeah.
Because nobody else needs to see that.
That memory, those things stick with you. Like it's very hard to get that stuff out of your head.
Yeah. I mean, I could picture it clear as day now, it's forever ingrained into my brain, but I just feel bad for the family, like,
Of course.
Jesus,
Of course.
I don't know what drives somebody to take that route.
I don't know that we all do. And quite frankly, honestly, a big reason we're doing this podcast is to create a space before people might take that step.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's hard to talk about things, we'll say as men, but as a society, as people, and especially challenging things like that. Does that really want to be the topic of conversation? Nobody really wants to do that and have that conversation.
Right.
The issue is when we don't address it, it creates like a charge inside of us that lives with us, and it starts to eat us alive unless we find a way to process it or express it or kind of get it outside of us. And so for me and you in particular, and I want to ask you, did you do anything actively to make sure that it didn't stay running in your mind, like a record or anything like that? Do you remember? Or did you just do your best to keep moving forward and eventually the memory started to fade a little?
I think I just did my best to move forward.
Yeah. And you're a pretty active guy. You do things like that. So you're playing disc golf, walking, moving, running with your dogs all the time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not something obviously I think about all the time or anything like that. Like I said, that memory will never go away.
Right.
But yeah, it was talking to
bit.
you.
Sure. Yeah.
Working with you.
Yeah.
That helped.
Sure.
And eventually it was just, at least I don't dream about it anymore. So that's good.
Okay. All right. So we've gotten to that point where it's out of dreamland.
Yeah. No more nightmares for that one.
So in a small microcosm, we say the I Am Not Okay channel. And what this exchange here was Justin knew me well enough to know that if he told that to me, most likely I would hold a space for him to not feel bad about it and express it, but also to listen. Because I know what it's like personally, unfortunately, the experience of losing my brother that way, to have that, we'll say, happen to me. And I needed to get it out as well. And I've learned that sitting and creating a space, even just being present with somebody, not forcing talk, not asking them to talk, not making anybody talk, that it doesn't happen until it's ready. It's more, I want to always be ready if somebody needs that space. And I believe that's a big part of what we're doing, sure, on the podcast, but with our I Am Not Okay movement. We're stopping faking fine. I was not fine. He was not fine. We can't do that anymore. Then we had to go kind of speak the unspoken, that stuff that is really sticky and hard, and you don't want to say it because it's just like, really, that happened? Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, that happened. And then maybe you get to the point where you're like, you know what? That moment in time was not okay. And I'm okay saying that out loud now. And that's more along the lines of what we're after is whatever words you might use in that sequence, we don't care. It's more, don't lie about it. Not to yourself, not to somebody else. That doesn't actually allow you to let it dissipate inside of you. What do you think about that?
Well, obviously, I'm also someone who is not okay. And furthermore, I faked fine for a long time. I have had multiple of my friends go down the same route. I have also been a witness to someone losing their life, like pretty much right in front of me.
Yeah.
I've seen several of those things. And yeah, that stuff lives with you. It stays with you. You don't just get rid of it. You do need to process it. And I was never, ever given a tool in my life to allow me to process any of that stuff. I took it upon myself to figure out ways to process things just by moving or being aggressively active in wrestling or jiu-jitsu, martial arts, things like that. You know, that was the kind of stuff that I leaned into to help me process things like that. I also find it interesting that we're having this conversation this week in this room, and you're a part of it. Obviously, you're a part of it, but, you know, I know for a fact that this has been a hard week for you.
It has.
And if, how would I even go any further in that? Like, I could let you explain it, or I could just say that it's been a particularly hard week for John, I know, because all the things that we're talking about, the anniversary of his brother's suicide was 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, we sat in the room earlier this week and just kind of sat there in silence and be like, yo, here we are. That's it. So in order to be sitting here and having this conversation right now is pretty cathartic, I think, for everybody, because there's been a lot of that energy around us all week.
For sure. So. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's a heavy way to start off a podcast and a conversation. So what we're going to do is, that's the entry point, right? And what came out of that, Justin and I had an idea for a video, and because he's a videographer and an editor, he's like, I have some ideas for this thing too. And clearly, like, he had gone through his own version of that. So he and I joined forces together to put something together really, really beautiful. At the time, I think it was a little aggressive is not the right word, but it was, you know, when we put that out, it was like 2.5 years ago. Even that recent ago, people were not ready for that. It was...
myself included.
Even Mr. Jeremy at the time was kind of like, his words, he scoffed at I am not okay. That just does not, you don't say that out loud. You don't be about that. You don't wear t-shirts that have that on it. And here me and Justin we're literally making a video about being not okay. Justin, do you remember the kind of the process of going through that video? What do you remember that? Because I think for me, it helped me in context with like learning what you went through to kind of like move that and process that forward a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, after what I unfortunately had to witness, it kind of brought up ideas. So in an odd way, when tragedy sparks something good, you know, that can happen.
Yes. Yeah, you can spin it.
Yeah. So, you know, they say great comedians usually have a really fucked up childhood.
That's true.
And if they didn't go through that, then, you know, they wouldn't be as funny as they were today. That doesn't necessarily always fly over, but, you know, hey, I've seen
9
enough
times out of
comedians
10, yeah.
that I'm like, yep. But it just resonated with me because definitely at that time, I was not okay. I think I had been going through life going, not necessarily saying that I was okay, just like fine.
Right.
And for the most part, that was true. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But fine isn't great. It's not good.
And
I'd rather be better than fine.
Fine
wasn't
is a
always true.
response, right? Fine is just a response, right? It's like it's an
right.
easy one for people to have. It's an easy one for them to process. Be like, oh, he's fine.
Yep.
He's fine. Oh, that's fine. This is fine. Like fine is one of those things where you can put it. It's like it happened, but it's fine. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. Like it's one of those ones you can easily put it, stick it off to the side, shove it off, and like, oh,
Stuff
in the
it
back,
down.
in the back of your mind, like it's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. So I mean, I try to rationalize a lot of things in life. I'm like, well, that's life, and that's out of my control, and so like I can't be down about that or whatever. So, but this resonated because of what happened, and then I don't want anybody to ever do that. And so clearly he was not okay.
Correct.
Did he speak to anybody about it? We won't know.
Right.
Was his family there for him? I have no fucking clue.
Right.
So by us doing that, it got me so motivated to get people to hopefully please seek help.
Somehow.
In a way, so you have people in your life that you can tell them that you are not okay, and they, if they can't help you, hopefully they could just be an ear for you and steer you in a direction that's not taking your own life. Because, I mean, unfortunately, you never know why people do it.
Right.
You know, so you know, life's tough.
It is.
So you can struggle. You know, you got bills and food and all that shit to pay. You know what I mean? Even if you're homeless on the street, you're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
I don't think he was homeless, but I don't know what his life was. So it was just sort of kismet that happened, and then I immediately called you probably 2 days later after that, and you were like, "Holy shit, I'm actually working on this project." And so I thought, hey, why don't we go through the day in the life of somebody who's not okay?
Yeah.
From wake up to basically going to bed.
That's right.
And that's what we did. We started off with a bed shot.
Exactly right.
You
Pulling
wake it
off
up, yep.
Yeah.
And your alarm going off, and you looking at it, and you just mumble, fuck.
Has anyone ever asked you if you were okay and you said yes when you weren't? I've spent most of my life telling people I was okay when I knew that I wasn't. I'd get up in the morning and I would lie to myself as I wondered if we're always lying to ourselves and we're always lying to each other, how could we ever have truth between us?
And it's just, there's probably so many people out there that roll over, and it'll just be that they fucking hate their job so much.
Yep.
And now they wake up and they're like, oh, Christ, I gotta go to this I gotta sit in traffic. I gotta go to this job I hate. And I gotta sit there, and then I gotta talk to the people I don't really like. You know? And then I got to drink this shit coffee that they always have there. But I'm going to drink so much of it that, like, I don't even know why I'm drinking coffee all day. That was me at an office. And, that I was miserable for a long time. Yeah. So, again, there was parts of my life that was not okay. And I fucking hated my office jobs. I dreamed about being behind a camera, doing something cool.
Yes.
Miking people up. Let's film something.
Yeah, let's make something out of it.
And it wasn't until I had Britt on my podcast, and I changed to start doing walkabouts and stuff like that. So we did it at like the old trestle where they turned it into a walking garden over at like 11th and whatever. So we just did it up there, and then at the end of that, I was like, has anybody ever done a movie on you or like a documentary, anything? He's like, that's funny you say that. I was a part of a docu-series. And he was featured in it quite a bit. Yeah. But it wasn't all about Britt. And I was like, dude, I just got so motivated. It was like 3 days later. I was like, I probably have no business doing this, but can I please shoot a documentary about you? And he was like, I don't know why you'd want to do that, but okay. Describe the night that you overdosed and they had to get you up with Narcan.
That was that night. In the car. And then the one at the house down there on Crescent, they didn't need Narcan. They were using water, and the people I were with, I don't know what exactly they did. But the last time, I was at this friend's house, and I just remember coming out of the kitchen, coming out of this bathroom that was right next to their kitchen. And the next thing I knew, I remember laying on the floor and hearing people talk to me, but I couldn't see them. But I knew they were there. And when I finally had my eyes open, there was a cop and two paramedics and this friend standing there. And the cop was like, "You're lucky we're not busy today."
Yeah. So before we move forward into that, Britt was a guest on our podcast. If you haven't seen that one, bang, we'll put a link to it right there. Justin introduced me to Britt. Britt, former addict, really challenging upbringing, and he's turned that around into the Philly Unknown Project and into outreach for folks that are in active recovery to work through that, and that's what Justin is talking about. So how did you meet Britt? Because I'm not certain I know the whole story there.
I met Britt because of my podcast.
Got it. Okay.
So basically through guests. One awesome guest, Mike Whiter. Sorry, dropping your name, buddy. Mm-hmm. Really cool dude, really awesome. Yeah. And he was like, dude, you should have this guy, Britt, on your podcast because he does this, and this. And I was like, that's awesome. Let's go. So I had him on. Yeah. And it took a while.
Of course. Me too. Us too. Yeah.
Britt,
Britt, honestly, we love you.
Britt, you're an amazing dude. You're so busy. You have, I don't know how.
Still trying to get you back for number 2.
I don't know how he juggles it. And I think he just started like working with another organization. Plus, he's got Philly Thrift now on
Community
Gerard.
Thrift.
Community
and he's
Thrift.
got
I keep calling it Philly Thrift.
Dog walking business.
Yeah,
he does a million.
My
things.
man's busy. And I'm sure he needs to keep his mind off of
things.
He needs to keep it occupied.
He's got to keep it going.
But I eventually had him on, and that was when I finally did have him on.
That's fucking cool, man.
And then I just reached out to him, and then we started in the summertime. It was like July. We started filming. And then we went all the way through, and we even hit the pandemic. I reached out to him. I was like, are you still doing compassion bags right now? Yes. And I said, we need to shoot. Okay. So we went out in the van. Unfortunately, that van was since stolen after that. Mm-hmm. But that was pretty amazing.
Today we're going to get in the van. We're going to hit the streets. We're going to drive around. We're going to hand out some compassion bags and provide some resources and supplies to our friends out on the streets that have nowhere to go. I mean, this is a stay at home, but they don't have homes to go to. So we're going to get out there. We're going to give them some supplies. We're also going to drive around the community and see which neighbors might need some supplies as well as we're driving around, because let's face it, we're all in a little bit of need at this point in time. Usually before I start to hand things out, I just like to sort of drive around and assess where a huge need may be, or everybody's in need, but like has somebody else been out here handing out things, and I don't want to duplicate the efforts because there's so many other people out here that may not have gotten from another organization or other outreach workers. So I just like to assess it first. Plus I like to know what, I'm getting myself into in these most uncertain and bizarre times. Yeah, outreach has been a little bit more challenging with the pandemic because of the social distancing, because of the fact that, we can't get close to those that we're used to getting close with and actually have some type of contact. So what I've been doing from inside the van, we've been loading the van up with all of our supplies. We've been driving around, we've been handing supplies out from inside the van. If we need to get out, we've been doing a drop at a safe distance for them to be able to pick up or just to see what they need. But yeah, it's been a little bit challenging. However, it has been challenging the fact of finding people because the streets are still filled out here. Even with that stay-at-home order in effect, the streets out here are filled with people.
And how has the pandemic affected Philly Unknown and your project with the city?
I gotta say, one thing I'm very fortunate about is that since Philly Unknown is a nonprofit, and what the nonprofit work does, we're deemed essential. So we're allowed to be out here. However, it's affected some of the initiatives that we have going on. It's affecting something like the community gardening that we just took the lease over here. It's pushing that back a little bit. But these are just little barriers, little obstacles we've got to work around in order to make it, that much better. I mean, we're used to taking a few steps backwards before we go forward. What is the city doing to help them on a daily basis? I mean, if they're going to have a stay at home, they've got to figure out where they're going to have people go or take them. But in the meantime, put up another $500,000 condo right next door so it could rot from the inside out. And a block away, not care for the population that's hurting it.
And then we went up to Whitehall, I think that's what it's called. That's where he's from. That's where he's from. So we went around the old stomping grounds. We went to an old school. We went to visit his mom. I interviewed his mom.
Yeah. Oh, I watched the documentary. It's a great documentary.
A couple of his buddies and stuff like that. So
let's put some clips in it right here. I think I know the editor of this podcast, so we can make that happen.
Have a good one, ma'am. That's good. She's still there. She's not in good shape. At all.
Her?
Yeah. She's been there since we got here tonight.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. What we got? 1, 2, 3. I'll get rid of them real quick on the Ave right here.
Just swinging around.
I'm just gonna swing right down the avenue and I'll hit 3. I'm not hitting Somerset again. I just hit right here. Boom, boom, boom. Here you go, buddy. Have a good one.
Thank you.
For some reason, I think I gave him sneakers last year. 1, 2, we're good. 2 more.
So, what would you say what is going on with her?
Her? She's got a batch of something. Looks like more K2 than anything. Heroin, she wouldn't be standing. She probably did some K2, and it probably just is working like this one right here. Yo, are you pulling over for that dude? Or no? Yeah. They're not? there longer. At least he understood and gave an acknowledgement that he was cool. So I'm glad.
But yeah, no, it was cool. And now I've got a bug for that again. And so like working with you was sort of like filling that void again to sort of therapy for me.
Sure. Yep.
And getting to try to use more creativity that way.
Yeah.
And now it's got me on another quest out in Michigan to work with a company called Bucket List for Veterans.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. So like veterans, Vietnam and, anything from that era. And then any veteran you are,
Sure.
if you have a bucket list dream of like, I want to go on this epic buffalo hunt. I want to go on an elk hunt. A lot of them are, because a lot of these guys are hunters.
Got it.
They want to go on epic fishing trips. They want to go on a deep sea fishing trip, right? And they just can't afford it. Well,
This company makes it happen.
I don't know how they really do the whole thing because I've only done one video piece so far. Like started just shooting with them about a month ago.
Okay.
And they run a coffee truck. So all the proceeds from the coffee go right back into that to help them fund that stuff. So they just did a huge hunting trip for a guy that wanted to go to Colorado and hunt, like I think elk or something like that. So he got to go on a huge, awesome trip. Nice. And I think eventually they're gonna want me to, because I presented this like, if it's not too much, and I don't want to, intrude on somebody's dream trip, but if I could be there to film at least some of it and then just peace out and let them enjoy, that would be great. So it's a pretty cool mission. I like that. So I was like, I'm going to try to do this. So I've been starting to work with them on that.
I think that's amazing. That's another different way to capture that trip for that person. They can be there in the moment, but then look back on it as well.
Gets documented.
So I think
really
as long as I, just shut my mouth and just be the man behind the camera and let them do what they need to do, then I think they would absolutely enjoy the memory of being able to get back and watch that, and almost like a film.
Okay. So now we're in a cool place because like we've talked about, you love to document, you love to create, you love to mic people up, you want to capture these moments. How did you get into editing and camera work and all of that kind of stuff?
Again, Mike Whiter.
All right.
So
what's up, Mike?
I had Mike on, and he's a veteran himself.
Cool.
And once he came home and left, he had an insane story. Like he went on. He's very much of an advocate. He had later on a campaign called Operation Overmed because it's a campaign to bring to light about the 22 veterans that kill themselves every day, and it's probably more than that. Yeah. But that's just what's documented.
Mm-hmm.
It's the average.
It's the average, yeah. But it's a lot go people don't like to talk about that. They don't report on it, all that stuff. So news, they don't ever report on suicides, but they'll report on murder and all the other things. Just not, which is I don't understand that. But regardless of that, he came on because basically what he used to get off of all the prescriptions that he was on. He was taking like 18 pills a day. He was a zombie. He said he was watching a National Geographic program, and he said he was zombified out of his mind. And then a whole thing came on about cannabis and PTSD, and he was like, wait a minute. He said he always shunned it, like, get that shit out of my face. Like, that's just stupid stuff. He was like, screw it, let me try it. And he was like, oh my God. And like after a while, he was no more pills. After a while, he started to find passion, creativity that he probably never knew he had. And then so he took a photography class at the Art Institute and crushed it. I mean, I came and I saw him developing the photos. I was like, didn't you just get this camera? Like, he's a dude that like when he wants to learn something,
goes all in, and then he gets really good at it. Okay, all right.
And that is so awesome. So
yeah.
He's such a good dude, and
that's so cool.
There was a Veterans Day parade, and he goes, I know this is going to sound weird, but we're going to protest. I was like, you're a veteran and you're going to Veterans Day parade. What do you mean? He's like, we're going to be at the very end of the parade, and we need to show people that 22 veterans a day are killed. He goes, we're not protesting veterans. I'm a veteran. We got a whole bunch of veterans with us. And so he came up with the bullhorn and everything, and we literally ambushed it, waited for the last float to come through, and then we just went right on out there. And I had a Galaxy S3.
That's old school camera, bro.
And I was like, I filmed the whole thing, and then I went home and I was like, maybe I'll try to make a video out of it. I had like some Windows thing, and I ripped a Bob Dylan song off of wherever and then just put that on there and then put it out. And he messaged me. He goes, holy shit, dude, this is awesome. And I was like,
really?
what?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, it's crap. Like, the quality of video is absolute crap. He goes, dude, it was the composition. The sound was good. The music you put to it was perfect. He goes, it's awesome. So I was like, oh, maybe there's something to this.
Got it.
So years go by, and eventually I just kind of slowly started getting into it. But again, I didn't have the money to buy a nice camera.
When was that? Like 2010 or something? Or 2005? 2015?
Probably like 2010, 2012,
okay, yeah,
2012,
right.
2013, around those times.
Got it.
And eventually I got the Galaxy S10, and that's when I got the bug to do a documentary on Brit. And then when I got that, I Googled, like, can you shoot a documentary on these phones? Because they're pretty good. And a guy literally did an entire, like, cinematic film on a S10. And I was like,
okay,
well, gimbal, microphone, done.
Let's go.
And that's exactly what I did. It was great. I got this really cool lens to go on my phone to make it a nice wide, super wide shot.
That's cool.
So Brit's whole documentary was shot on your phone?
S10, Galaxy S10. No other cameras.
Excellent.
Yeah. That thing, if you haven't seen it already, and we're going to put a link and clips to it because you should have already seen it. That thing is wild, man, in the best of ways. Like, he did a really good job on that. To see Brit going from these places, the one scene in particular was this man, like, Brit was on the side of the road, and you just, like, off camera, you hear, like, oh, yo, there's my man. And you see this guy come on camera, and it's just such a genuine moment where, like, this guy was so appreciative of everything that Brit had. I think Brit had literally given him shoes, like fucking shoes for this guy's feet.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, yo, man, you saved my life. You don't understand. Like, it meant so much to me what you did for me.
Otherwise, if you give me a pair of Timberland.
What size you get?
9.5? 15 wide.
15 wide.
Most of the shoes I got now are like D, single D.
What are those ones that you got from
Yes,
us?
you got.
Yeah.
These are comfortable. These are Champion. Man, Champion got me. They got me hooked. These things are.
How are you?
People search all their lives for greatness, and it's standing right in front of them.
How you doing? How you been on the old pine lately?
Oh yeah, they gave away sleeping bags last Sunday.
Did they?
They had big boxes, and then they had bags of socks. They had white and black, and they gave you one of each. It was 5 pair of each. Oh, it was awesome last week.
Who was? Old Pine did it?
Oh, I mean, I'm 4th and Lombard.
Yeah, where we go.
Yes. How did you remember me?
Come on now, all these years after the last year or so working with you, yeah.
Probably noticed my feet. Hello, I'm Art. I used to be one of the formerly homeless. This gentleman has helped me. I have a problem. I wear size 15 wide shoes. And they're hard to find in most stores and places. And yet in the last year, this gentleman has supplied me with 4 pair. And I'm grateful to no ends. I cannot extend, how grateful I am. Whoever's out there watching this gentleman is a godsend. And I hope he stays. I hope God blesses you always. Thank you so much.
Buddy.
You have no idea.
And he just, like, was right there for that moment. And I know, and I can see it even with what we're doing here. Like, it's not a shit ton contrived. It's like us firing up the mics and sitting the fuck down and just getting after whatever comes out.
Right.
And so to see a real life moment like that Justin captured and was able to put in there in the context of a really like shitty kind of situation of like what Britt is having to do, like what he does now, it doesn't, he has to like gird his loins up every day to get ready for battle, to go into those places. I'm sure it must be emotionally nightmarish. So to see it captured was just unreal, dude.
It was hard to film being in Kensington because if you go on YouTube, you can see a lot of people unfortunately like to exploit people.
They're like, oh, look how bad this place is.
It's
terrible.
It's ridiculous that they get millions and millions of views on that, and yet I can't crack 10,000 on an actual legit film that is not going to show too many people zombified out, because I don't want to film that, but I have to film some of it to give you to really show you what K&A really is. You know, I mean, people were injecting. A guy was helping his buddy get like with a needle into the neck. I saw somebody having to find a spot between their toes to inject in the park, and I'm like, I can't. I just can't film that, and in good conscience, I can't, because I feel like I'm exploiting you, even though I blurred everybody's face.
Right.
Do I have to? No, I don't.
Of course.
I don't have to, but I'm being respectful.
Yeah.
And at first I asked Brett, I said, I was thinking of not blurring their faces because maybe that's somebody's daughter. And they're like, oh my God, there they are. We haven't seen them in 10 years. He goes, yes, but those people usually don't want to ever be found. So blur their face. And I said, that makes sense.
Okay.
I'll be
He's
respectful.
a real advocate for that too. Like I see him talking about that all the time. Like, don't be down here doing your thing, like handing out stuff, but taking pictures of people. It's like, it's not.
Yeah,
he's very,
hand shit out and leave. Don't hand
he's
stuff
very
out.
vocal
and
about
then,
that.
Yeah. And then try to be like, hey, look at me, I'm here. Like that is so bad. And it's like, I just don't understand. Like all those videos of exploiting those people are somebody in their car just driving around, and at each intersection they're just seeing people dipping out. And yet, who is sitting there watching that? Like they got 4 million views.
They're seeing people at their worst, right? I mean,
that's just weird.
That would be the equivalent of you being at the disc golf course and being like, "Oh shit, there's somebody that killed himself. Let me go film that." Like, it's almost the equivalent of that. Like that's the way I see it. Like that's like filming people at their worst. Like let it go. Like let it be.
Well, there was a YouTuber who did that. Logan Ryan, remember that? Well, or not Logan Paul.
Jake Paul.
Brothers. Logan.
Oh yeah, when he went to
Japan.
Japan.
Kagi boys, but what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well,
who's going to say that story? Go ahead.
Oh well, he walked into the Japanese forest where it's known and also, I guess, commonplace to go and kill yourself. And most people kill themselves by hanging out there. And so he thought, whoa, this will be cool. Let me go online. And so he went out there, found it, and he started YouTubing. And it's like, I don't know what you're doing. It's like trying to do a YouTube show at a graveyard or a cemetery.
Wow, that's a visual.
Or a funeral parlor, even worse.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were doing a show about a guy who works at a funeral parlor, sure, you could do a podcast at the spot, but that'd be really weird. I don't know. It's just
Justin, you have morals, like clearly.
Yeah, it's just morals. The cloud chasers it's just insane, and it's again, I'm not like, oh, I get the views. It's just more or less going, I don't understand. I'm giving you a nice piece to you to like look, and like that's not nice, but yet it's so
correct.
It's kind of scary where it shows you that where a lot of society is, and it's like the doom scrolling, and like nobody wants to see that happiness. I'm like, I would rather just have my algorithm, instead of that stuff. Like, again, not everybody likes it, but I'd rather have it filled with pornography, because that's pleasure. That's something that's like, that brings you happiness sometimes. That gives you a euphoric feeling. But maybe when people watch the others' demise, it's giving them a euphoric feeling, going, well, I'm not that guy. My life is better than his. That's
interesting to think about. To think that it might actually give somebody pleasure to watch somebody else's demise. Yeah. Think about what is going on in somebody's mind, that might be a thing that you're just like, yep, I'm going to sit here and watch these motherfuckers go take drugs, shoot up, maybe even die.
Yeah, and then people love to. That's why.
God damn.
All right, I'm doing pretty good. Right?
I'd like to think so. Woo, that's wild, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Nah, dude, I'm with you. I haven't been in that situation. I can tell you, like, similarly, like I wouldn't feel good about putting somebody out at their most vulnerable, especially most likely without their consent. Right. So to me, I believe there's a way to assist them at their most vulnerable and eventually bring them to the place where they could sit in a place like this and actually want to tell their story and know that they're saying it and willingly talking about the things that might have been hard, but not have that taken from them just because I want views.
We've done that.
Yes, we have absolutely done that. And guess what? It takes longer. It does. It took him 6 years. Took me fucking most of my life. Took you a while to get to that point. So I understand these stories that are coming up now. They've been brewing for years and decades and decades. And I do believe we're doing it the right way this way. So let's go ahead and like shift gears a little bit into, let's talk like more about Justin and not just like this hard over thing. So Justin, I said earlier that you were from Maine. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So you're from Maine. Just give us a little like born in Maine. Why'd you come to Philly?
Okay.
And then, yeah. So what's up?
Yeah, well, I was born in Connecticut, but only lived there for about a year.
Okay,
and then
yeah.
my parents found this amazing farmhouse in Limerick, Maine.
Limerick.
And so I think we moved there in like 81. And I lived there with my brother and my two sisters, and it was awesome. The country was great.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
basically, I knew nothing else but that. So anytime we would go to a city, I was always very like, wow, what are these birds? What's a pigeon? Like we don't have these in
Limerick.
in Limerick,
Yeah.
we've got cardinals and squirrels and shit, So that, yeah. It was like in deer and moose and shit. And it's like out there, it's just literally like,
Is Limerick more north or is it a little more south?
it's almost like the very bottom of Maine, like
gotcha.
the very bottom
Yep.
of Maine. Like
Got
we
it.
were 15 minutes from the New Hampshire border.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then in 97, I graduated high school. And I had been wanting to go to the Art Institute, but I couldn't afford both the school and student housing. They were both very expensive at the same time, and I couldn't afford an apartment by myself. There was, my friends were down there, but there was nobody, they were full.
Got it.
So right at the end, like in December, I get a call. Hey, he's moving out. Come on down. So I told my parents, I was like, I'm going to Philly. I've got a place. They're like, all right. Took a one-way bus ticket. Took a bus all the way down there. It was a 12-hour trip. Dude. You stop in Boston. You stop in New York. Stop in fucking Jersey. And the funniest thing was, he goes, awesome, dude. Let me know when you get in. Just get into a cab and, come here. Don't talk to anybody. Just get in the cab. And I was like, okay, dude.
Most people fake fine. Are you one of the few who will rise? Comment BKS below, and we'll arm you with the first tool to fight pain and build strength that's actually worth sharing. See you in the gym. Now back to the show.
Here comes a fucking Maine bumpkin getting off the Greyhound. The lady's like, oh, you need help getting a cab? And I was like, oh, yeah. I thought she was a cab driver. No. So she's walking me to go get a cab, and then she's like, need any weed? And I was like, well, I just landed in Philly, and I'm going to my buddy's house for the first time in my new apartment. Yeah, let's smoke a blunt. So I'm like, yeah, I'll do. All right, yeah, $10. Get it. So I give her $10. She shoves the thing in my pocket, gets me in a cab, and boom, she leaves. And as soon as the door closes, I go, it rings in my head. Don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to anybody. So I reach in my pocket, and I knew I was like, yeah. I pulled it out. It was a bag of potting soil.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
So the very 5 minutes boots on the ground in Philly,
Already?
Justin gets ripped off. He got. So now I know how.
Got it out of the way.
Now I know how Philly works. I'm like, all right, don't trust anybody here. Fuck this shit. So yeah, and then I, got to where we were, and It was an old crack dealer's apartment, so we would still have crackheads knocking on the window at night trying to get crack, and you would tell, "Dude, seriously, he's gone." And like, come on, man, come on. So that was fun, you know. And then I went to the Art Institute for a little bit, and then decided that this is not my passion. They took my original program out, which was recording it for music. So at first I wanted to be like working in a studio,
like a sound engineer. Or something.
Yeah, I love that stuff.
Yep.
And so they took that out, and then I had to pivot to something that I liked, which was special effects. I wanted to I want to work on horror movies with the blood splatter, and that's what I wanted to do, you know. And I would do some of that. Yeah, it was. Oh yeah, Tom Savini was the guy. Like I would watch Friday the 13th all the time because he did all the makeup for that stuff.
Yeah.
And Dawn of the Dead too, and stuff like that. And it was really cool. So like, I really wanted to do that stuff, but I wanted to just do that. And the Art Institute's not a trade school. It's you're gonna have to take art history first. I'm like, no. I want to start making blood splatter stuff, like masks and whatnot. So I eventually just dropped out of that and started trying to still pursue the music thing.
Sure.
But it just didn't work out very well. Then I just ended up working at 8th Street Music, which was one of the biggest music stores in Philadelphia. Celebrities would roll through. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I know a few guys who used to work there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later.
And I'll just say this one fun little story though before I talk about Michigan is so one night. Friday night was one of our late nights we'd stay open, and the Trocadero was still around doing shows. And these guys called up looking for Genelec speakers, and if anybody knows what Genelecs are, they're like $4,000 for the pair. They are matched speakers for studio monitoring. They are ridiculous sounding. They're so good. You can use them for your home studio or your home theater system too, but they are ridiculous. These two guys come in. They're like, "Hey, we're Jonathan Davis's we're the tech guys,
right?
And he's trying to build a recording studio on his tour bus."
Oh shit! Yeah.
And if anybody who Jonathan Davis is, he's the lead singer of Korn. I grew up in high school when Korn first came out. Oh my God, me and my buddies like just smoking joints and I can see I'm going blind, you know, just like, yeah, this is so awesome, dude. And so we loved it, and we went and saw them in concert and everything. I fucking loved Korn. It was like, that was like my first like heavy stuff that I really got into. Now I'm into a lot heavier stuff. But so my boss, Randy, goes, hey, they're gonna come in, and I think Jonathan's coming in. He goes, I know you're into Korn, so take him upstairs, lock the door, and just, you know, like, oh shit, I get to fucking hang out. Davis. They come in, Jonathan comes up. He's such a nice dude, very quiet. Hey man, shook his hand. Those guys are like, hey, you got anything we can crank up through these speakers? And I was like, I'll some Faith No More, because I didn't have any Korn on me. He's like, not Korn. And I was like, okay. Yes. So I was like, boom, I pop in Faith No More, and he's like, yeah, they're cranking it. So I'm like, hey, awesome. Jonathan's like, hey, got a phone call. He was like, hey, can I take this somewhere? And I was like, all right, here, just go into my stock room real quick. So he literally stepped over the threshold in the stock room, and he was just on the phone talking while those guys were listening to the speakers.
Yeah.
So and then the guys are like, let us know what kind of deal you can give us on these. And I was like, all right. I know my boss already gave him a deal, but of course they want more money off. I get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
They're $4,000 speakers.
Yeah.
So I got downstairs, called my boss. I'm like, hey, what can we do? And he's like, he finally says, all right, tell him this. All right, cool. I hang up. And then I hear footsteps coming down the stairs. Door opens, and I'm about ready to go. And I was like, hey, what's up? And the guys go, you better talk to your boy up there, man. And they left. And I'm like, what? And I'm like thinking, like, Jonathan? Heavier, quicker footsteps come down. It's Jonathan Davis, who's now very angry and is now this close. And all I can think of is him singing in a song. I'm like, holy shit, Jonathan Davis is spitting fire at me right now. Yes. I didn't even do anything. What's happening? And apparently the guy that worked in the back, what you do is you close up you got to take the freight elevator up, and then you leave that way. You go shut it down and you shut the lights off in the stock room and then close the door and then you walk down and leave like those guys did. Well, he was leaving and he saw this guy, wandering around a little bit in the stock room and immediately was just like, who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of here. Like just went at him instead of going, hey, you're not supposed to be back here. Can you just please? That's all he had to do. But no, this guy was very abrasive all the time, never took shit from anybody, didn't care who he was, and just spitfire him and told him basically get the fuck out of my store. So I lost a $4,000 sale. 8th Street Music got blasted by Jonathan Davis. That was fucking hilarious. But people still came to the store. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm in the old Pixies documentary too from a long time ago because they came into the store and I made a sweet ass out of myself.
Interesting.
That's what happens when you get really high at work on the roof and come down and celebrities are in the store now and you don't know how to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim and Kelly Deal came in from the Breeders.
Nice.
Okay.
They're from the Pixies as well.
Yeah.
Feel free to tell this story.
So I recognized them and I was like, nah, that's not
Couldn't be.
Couldn't be.
That's not them.
Is that the weed talking?
Huh?
Is that the weed talking? No.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely the weed talking. I literally just came fresh from the roof and she hands me her credit card and I'm walking over to the credit card machine and says, Kim Deal. I'm like, holy fuck, it is Kim Deal.
Yeah.
Run the card. I'm like, dude, this is so cool. Walk right over. Here comes Stone Brain. Huh. Kim Deal, huh? Yeah. Do you listen to the Breeders? And she goes,
Are you
what?
kidding me?
And I go, do you listen to the Breeders? And she goes, no. And I go, oh, they're actually a really cool band, actually. And then I walk back away because I forgot to charge her card because I was so like,
Yeah.
and then she turns to the camera and go, is he fucking with me? And I wasn't fucking with her at all, right?
Yeah.
So then we get a fax going, hey, we want to put this bit in our DVD. Will he
ridiculous.
sign a release? And I was like, I don't give a shit. I don't care because I was high. I made an ass out of myself. I tend to do that if I'm nervous and there's a celebrity there, it just, you say dumb stuff sometimes.
That guy's ridiculous.
I say dumb shit all the time.
Yeah, we want that.
As a moron. But yeah, no, I will forever live on in the Pixies DVD, which is really funny.
Can you find that moment?
Oh yeah.
Find that moment and put it right there.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. I'll find that for you.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Cash or charge?
Charge.
Charge away. You can really deal like the Breeders.
Right.
Listen to the Breeders?
Huh?
Listen to them?
Do I listen to them?
No?
Yeah.
A really cool band, actually. Oh, 414. Wait, did I give you back your card for some reason?
I think you did.
Yeah, I was supposed to charge that. Sorry, long evening.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. Fucking with me?
But yeah, no, so in 2006, we had just purchased our home, our first home in South Philly on Bancroft Street. And I got a call.
You said we.
Sue, my wife,
Well,
my
I know,
amazing
but
wife,
they
Sue,
don't know. There we go. All right.
who I met in 2001.
Hi, Sue.
And met in 2001 and just kind of immediately almost moved in with each other. And then, it's kind of like the smart thing to do, I think. Don't wait till you have a 3-year relationship and then move in with the person because that's when it's just going to go downhill. And you're like, I fucking hate that guy. So you move in right away and then you get all the stuff out of the way that you hate about each other. Right. And if you can stand that, then most likely you're going to be good.
Okay.
And, so look at us now, we got married in 2008.
Okay.
And we're still going fucking strong.
Wow,
and it's awesome.
very
And she's such an amazing person.
Yeah.
And I'm very fucking lucky to have her in my life. I mean, my Lord. But yeah, so, meeting her and all that stuff. And then got our house in 2006. And in 2006, I got a phone call at night saying, hey, we don't have a job right now. I was like, ha, is this like a joke? And he's like, no, the roof collapsed last night. And I was like, what? And so they just kept putting off getting their roof fixed. And what happened was something like collapsed onto the roof from another building, which smashed that roof down and hit the main water pipe to this whole sprinkler system, cracked that in half, and it just hundreds of gallons of water just poured on hard disk recorders, microphones, $10,000 Martin guitars had freaking might as well have fish floating in them as a fishbowl. The amount of money that was the amount of water that was in that basement was ridiculous. It ruined everything. And then of course insurance didn't pay for nearly of it because they said, hey, we've told you this many times. So that's what happened there. I didn't have a car. They were moving everything out to the warehouse that they had in Pennsauken. So that's where the store is now.
Gotcha.
And I just couldn't get out there feasibly. Patco didn't really go there. So I lost my job that way. I was like, oh. So I got on unemployment and all that fun stuff. And then I ended up, having to just get a regular job, which I got in, I was working at Potbelly Sandwich Works when they were still big here, which they're really not. There's like one or two left in the city. Mm-hmm. And then I hated working in food. And my buddy was like, hey, you want to make more money and probably move up the ladder and work in ocean logistics? I was like, that kind of sounds neat. Let's do that. So I started working for BDP, which is down on Walnut Street, and I got into ocean exports for non-hazardous materials. Packaging and industrial polymers is what I would coordinate shipping for, which is basically whatever makes the cores of golf balls and soles of shoes.
Yeah.
Tetra Pak is the one, like the Vita water that comes in that. If you look at it, it says Tetra Pak on it. That was one of our customers was Tetra Pak. So I did that, and I did that. I floated around, then I got sick of being a freight forwarder, is what I was called, and I wanted to work for the actual steamship line, the boat that moves that shit. So I went in Hamburg Sud, which is on 20th in Market, which is now Maersk because Maersk bought them. So I started working for the carrier. My boss left. We got a new boss. Hated that boss. Him and I butted heads quite a bit, and I said, I am out of here. And so I went and worked for another freight forwarder down in the Navy Yard, Geodis, and eventually got fired from there because I let my immaturities get the best of me. Being miserable, not having a lot of help. The pandemic really, really stressed the logistics.
Sure.
Yeah, COVID really just
changed a lot.
It was so bad, and I had no help.
Yeah.
And so there's only so much you can do before your blood pressure's up all the time. You're screaming such vile things at your computer that your neighbors are like, "Oh, if we hear a gun,
okay?
Yeah, no, I'm not. That is the perfect time for me to be like, I am not fucking okay at all. I am contemplating murdering this person at their office. I'm going to drive to New Jersey and beat the living shit out of this guy if he doesn't read my fucking email." Because he would respond and was like, "Did you even read?" Oh my God, I would just flip out.
Yeah.
So I just blew up one day. Somebody asked me if I was okay, and I said, "I am not okay." I mean, very loud, unprofessional in the office, and I just the fucking vomit came out. Not literal, but you know what I mean? The anger vomit came out.
Yeah.
And then that Friday the 13th, I get called, "Hey, can we see you in the..." Sure. Okay. Well, I open that door. There's 6 people in there. I go,
oh, here we are.
I don't think I'm in for a promotion. Nope, not at all. Let's
all.
see what's happening to Justin. Well, we mapped this out, and you didn't do this, and then this happened, and this happened, and this happened. So today's your last day here. And I went, oh, okay. And they're like, "Do you?" And I'm like, I just looked at all of them, and my one boss was just had her head down, and I was like, "No, I'm good. Can I go home now?" And they were like,
"That's it."
Yeah. Can you just have to? Yeah, whatever you need me to sign. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I am so happy that you fired me right now. But then as soon as I walked out, I was like, oh my God, Sue's gonna kill me. Great. And so I immediately, on the way home, called Britt.
Oh, shit. Okay.
crying,
Yeah.
but it was like a weird like state. I didn't understand how to go through these emotions. I was like, relief that I got fired,
Right, because you hated it.
but now I'm sad because now it's affecting somebody else in my life.
Yes. Yes.
So now I'm like, so I freak out and I call Britt right away and he goes, you can start tomorrow. Actually, well, that was the weekend. He goes, you could start Monday. I was like, perfect.
Walking dogs.
And I called Sue and she came home and I was like, I got fired today. And she was like, oh, Jesus. I was like, but I did this, and this. I'm going to file for unemployment. I doubt they'll fight it. They didn't. So I was able to get on unemployment and all that stuff. And then in the meantime, I had started loosely working with Next Level Video, who had their place in there. And I had always seen their van around. And it's basically like, to me, sometimes fate. You make it happen too. So I eventually called them and they were like, actually, I am looking for a cameraman. You think you can follow a lacrosse game back and forth? And I was like, yep.
I think I can.
Money sucked. It was like $100 for literally a 10-hour day. Ooh. So, but I said to myself, how else are you going to get your foot in the door?
Right.
So I got my foot in the door.
That's it.
And while we were there talking, and I was like, yeah, I do a podcast. And they were like, shut up. You're a podcast producer? I'm like, yeah. They were like, we were just talking about starting a podcast for the NXT club that was affiliated with NLV. Mm-hmm. And so I went in one day for an interview for the camera position, and then it quickly changed into, well, you don't really need you as a cameraman, but why don't you just do B-roll for me? And I'll just pay you like $50 an hour. I only need you for 4 hours. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't have a camera. I've got my phone. That's fine. Huh? Okay. So I started shooting B-roll for lacrosse with my phone. And then after a while, he was just kind of like, there's a way you can get wider shots. And eventually I was just like, fuck this, man. I'm making you're paying me enough. Now I'm buying a.
Get a camera.
Yep. Got a camera. Got a lens. Showed up. Look what I got now. They're like, awesome. Everything started improving. So I went from that to then managing events for them. And so they kind of just shipped me all around not all around the country, but,
And a lot of that is in the last 5 years.
It happened after right after,
but that
right after I
COVID
got
was
fired.
5 years ago. So
Yep.
yeah, dude.
And
wow.
then we were still doing the podcast during the pandemic. They had the masks on and stuff like that. We don't have to get into that shit, but I never believed in the mask thing anyways, but who cares? So yeah, we did that. And they had a lot of Zoom guests come in. So that was a new thing for me to like
figure out
how to get them to come in through. And so that was fun. And, unfortunately after a while, the company was kind of like, well, there's no ROI on this. So cut it down. And they're like, yeah. And then all the other guys, they moved on to bigger and better things anyways, so that's great. So I got to have that run for a little bit with them. And all that just stemmed into all the things that I started doing. And now coaches were coming up, hey man, do you do blah, blah, blah? Yeah. All right, cool. So I would be at a gig sometime managing it, making sure all the batteries and the cameras are going. And I would take photos. So I'd get double paid. And my bosses, they were like, dude, as long as you can do our job and not fuck it up.
Right.
I don't go ahead.
Do your thing.
Do
right?
it.
Yeah.
Take some more
Get extra
pictures.
money, man. If you can do it, do it. So I'm like
really
filming
cool. Really
and
cool.
doing photography. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
I get paid double the money, so that's great.
Dude.
So
Yeah.
a lot of that's how a lot of that's been happening. And then I started working at Hillsdale College for a little bit in the interim to fill in they didn't have a videographer anymore for their athletic department. So I moved in and they were paying me the contractor wage. And then eventually somebody retired out of a department and then moved back into the role that I filled. So no more need for outside source because I was more expensive too. I get it. I understand.
All right.
And so now it's just me. I'm just trying to, again, to get back to the whole Philly thing. Eventually, I was pretty much done with Philly after I don't know. After all my friends left, really like the original crew and everything, and it was like just me as the mainer, the last man standing. It was like 2018. I think it was like around the pandemic time. I was just like, yeah, we just need to get that hell out of a city. Like, I want to get back to country life. And luckily, she was on the same page. She grew up in Bucks County. I grew up in Maine.
Okay.
Both country people.
Yeah.
So it's not anything really that new. And so her mom lives in Bay City, Michigan. And so we'd visit there a lot for like whatever holiday. And we'd be driving around. People are so nice in the Midwest. There's assholes everywhere, but telling you what, man, there's very nice people in the Midwest. Very nice. And so we'd be out there and driving around, and I'm like, wow, this really reminds me a lot of Maine, you know? And we were already talking about where do we want to go. We were talking New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, maybe. Like, hey, let's try to get closer to my family. And, I mean, looking at the prices and the job market and all those places, we were like, shit, we are not going to be able to afford any of this. There's just no way. And so we just were like, you know, we're kind of thinking. And then, you know, we were just like, oh, maybe Michigan. Michigan's cool. I like Michigan. It's really nice. It's big. A lot of people like live in Michigan, vacation in Michigan because there's just so much to do there.
Sure.
It's summertime is all about swimming and hiking, biking, and all that stuff in the water because there's hundreds of lakes. And not just the Great Lakes. I'm talking about hundreds of lakes. We have 200 lakes around us in Osseo. And so we got to a point where like I wanted out a long time ago. She wanted out a long time ago. It just wasn't in the cards yet. And we didn't really know what the heck we were going to do. And then she just started, we went out. It was like 2023. And we went out, left day after Christmas to go visit her mom. We were going to go spend the new year, 2024 with her. And we did. We spent New Year's and we were just like, yeah. And on the way home, I was like, we need to do this like now. Let's start doing this. And I was like, we said by the end of 2024, we'll be out of Philly.
Okay.
And then I, in the car, said, let's try to ramp this up. Let's see if we can do it by July. And she was like, all right, if you want to do this by July, you need to do all these things to the house. And I was like, okay. I know.
All right.
So I did all those things and started ramping it up. And like we were getting the house and we were just like, and then now we're looking for places. Where are we going to live? You know, here. And it was really contingent on her. Cause she's just amazing at everything she does. She's got the Midas touch. Every new place she goes to, it's like, wow, why is the profit going up? Yeah, it's because of her. Just the way she is, because she is a great person in that way where I'm a more childish person where it's like, this is not my fucking company. So I'm not going to put 100%. She puts 1,000% into something that she doesn't even own.
Got it.
That's so commendable to me.
Okay.
But so anyways, we started ramping it up and she applied for this and that, had a couple phone interviews, didn't really like, I don't even get a good vibe off that person. I don't even want to work there. Okay, that's fine. Her birthday rolls around. It's in May. And we had just got done doing like a breakfast, or a birthday breakfast. It was a Sunday. Miserable day. Like just shitty. Cold. It was cold for a May, which was weird. And it was raining. And we're driving home. And her phone starts going off. She's like, I was like, oh, answer it. She's like, I don't know what that is. I was like, babe, 517, I know that's Michigan. Pick it up. All right, she picks it up. Well, oh, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's, the guy, well, we'll just say who she's working for now. They had almost a 2-hour phone conversation. And she hung up. She felt so good. I said, babe, you got that job. She goes, I don't know. I was like, no. They called you on a Sunday. No corporation's going to call somebody on a weekend to be like, hey, can you come? No.
And talk
he
for
was
2
impressed
hours.
by what you did. And then by hearing you talk too for that long, they definitely have a good feeling about you. And I said, also, it's your birthday.
Right.
It's just kismet, man. I guarantee they're going to offer this position to you. They'd be stupid not to.
Right.
Well, look at that. They offered her the position. So she goes, well, looks like we're moving to Hillsdale. I said, okay, where the fuck is Hillsdale?
Yeah, right.
Oh, it's an hour 45 south from Detroit and anything else that you would really kind of want to do. And I'm like, well, that's going to make shit really hard for me to like work. Of course, all the stuff that I look for is 2 hours away, an hour and a half away, and they need you to be on site 5 days a week. Hey, that's fine. I'll do. I was at least very lucky. Again, thank you, Ursula Media, for keeping me on because I get to keep editing. And thank you to you,
brother,
for bringing me aboard on this and helping my financial situation, even though the life of a gigging job person kind of sucks because it's like if you have a partner that really wants stability, that's not stability.
Not that way unless you know what you're doing
because
in that world.
Corporate jobs, guess what you get? 401k.
Yeah.
You know, the last time I put a 401k, at least I have an IRA account,
Paid
which
vacation.
I've paid into. So I at least have a nice nest egg set up still through the investments that I got through 8th Street Music. Thank you again, 8th Street, for the profit share. That started out with 3,000, and I don't need to tell you what the number is now, but it's, it grew from 3 to
Great.
awesome
Something.
double digits.
Awesome.
And I'm hoping it'll hit triple digits soon.
Let's go.
But anyways, so it's like that's the only like little thing we have, and I understand where she's coming from. Sure. I totally get it because man, the one year I had to pay $7,000 in taxes. That's why you make quarterly payments, people, as a business owner, because if you don't, you're gonna have to pay all that up front. Like then, instead of like make 1,000 here or 2,000 there, so that at the end of the year it's like, oh, you only owe $2,000, not $7,000.
Yeah, that's a big chunk.
Which is a real punch in the gut for the wife too, because she's like, what did you do?
Yeah.
So that's definitely like,
Wow, dude.
hurting the stability. It's just a lot, but I get where it's coming from. But it's like, I am sorry. I am I would definitely say I'm the happiest I've been now because, man, how a 14-acre farmhouse dropped in our fucking lap for that price was, again, kismet. And all because she changed one filter. One little filter thing on Zillow. This pops up and we're like, okay, what is this shithole going to look like? We walk in, it's the most beautiful thing we've seen in our entire lives. We're like, we need to make an offer. And they fucking took our offer. We were like, what? So,
okay.
So we did it. We put our house on the market. I know I'm jumping around, folks, and I'm sorry. It's just my slight ADD brain just getting excited.
All good.
But we finally put the house on the market in June. 3 days later, we get an offer.
Jesus. This is your South Philly home. Yeah, right.
3 days later, we get an offer.
Yep.
We rejected that offer, and we got another offer and another offer that was like all lowball crap. And then the very first people that came back, all right, okay, we really want this house, so we'll give you this, but we need baby. Okay. So after all that stuff, we did all the things for them, and it's like, all right, we'll do this, and then this. Okay, great. So, bing, bang, boom, we sell the house. Great. Movers really ripped us off terribly. Lost our $4,000 mattress and didn't take responsibility for it and all this stuff. It was terrible. That was the most terrible move ever. But in the long run, it's, again, worth it.
You're there. Yeah.
Shitty situation turns into
Seems to be
positive.
part of your story.
Yeah. It's like shit turns into gold sometimes.
How about that?
Yeah, that's quite the Midas touch. If you could turn shit into gold,
literally.
Wow, because I don't like turning gold into shit.
No, not at all.
Because that's bad.
Yeah.
And I've done that before. So, yeah, we bounced around. We didn't even find this house. We just moved out, and we knew that she had to start in July, like right away. And so we started at Sunset Acres in Hudson, Michigan. It was basically, if anybody's ever seen Schitt's Creek, it's kind of like a hotel like that.
Okay.
We were there for over a month, and then we got out of there and moved to the Days Inn in Hillsdale. And then because she finally started working at the school, somebody was like, well, hey, I know you need an apartment. We have a vacant house on Union Street, which is literally right on campus. So we got that, bang, and it was such an upgrade. We had a kitchen. I can cook again.
Right. Yes.
Microwaving in a hotel sucks. Like, it just sucks. I just don't like that hotel life. But anyways, so we did that. We bounced around. Her mom graciously took care of the dogs. We couldn't have the dogs at any of these spots besides the one in Hudson. So we drove them back up and then dropped them off in Bay City and then all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then we saw the house down there. And we were like, we really love this house. So we were up in Bay City and we put the offer in. The realtor called us and said, they've taken your offer. And we were just like, what?
How long were you bouncing around before the offer? So like, how long were you in Michigan before you got into your house? I didn't realize
we left June 18th. So we got to Michigan June 18th.
That's Jackie's birthday.
And we moved into our house. We moved in our house August 1st.
So 6-ish weeks. Yeah. That's a long time to fucking be like in this weird
limbo.
Yeah.
It was literally a limbo and you know, it not knowing the places to go because man, the Wi-Fi out there is just.
So like, where was all your fucking shit at then? Like, so
all the stuff
moving
went
company
to Bay City. So her mom
sort of
stored it all into her pole barn, which essentially is a garage.
Yes.
I don't understand what a pole barn is versus a garage, but it must be in some sort of way building it. Are there poles?
Construction of it? Yes.
And I think most pole barns that I've seen are all just aluminum siding.
Yes.
No, her mom's is not. Her mom's is a goddamn garage. I keep telling her mom that. That's beautiful siding. She has 2 garage doors, right? And an entrance door to get in. My pole barn has a giant sliding barn door that's made out of aluminum. That's probably 18 feet tall, right?
Jesus.
It's huge because I could fit a small prop plane in my.
Was that where you did that video when you got your disc golf stuff? The video you sent me? You were in that pole barn?
When I was building the baskets?
Yes.
Yeah. And my
All right.
second naked self showed up?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other guy? Yeah.
The other guy.
We could put that clip in there.
The naked guy showed up. What? Get out of here, dude.
Some fucking naked guy showed up in my barn, man.
Yeah, those videos were starting to take a toll on me. I'm like, there's just so much editing for the teeny tiny amount of views you get. It's like it's deflating sometimes. So it's just a lot of work, and I can get more done if I'm not filming.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about that. I could just rake, mow, trim, move. But when I decided to have myself helping out as a twin, you got to do one side and then the other side. That took 2 extra hours to do that whole. That was, you know, I had fun.
But you
editing.
have the experience of what it might be for now when somebody comes back to you and is like, yo, I need you to double me up on camera. You'll know how to do that.
Yeah, I can do
so
multiple.
It was worth your time, right? So
in the long run.
In the short term, it might not feel like it.
No.
In the long run, you have a skill. That's what a lot of this shit is, yo, man, you realize I've been fucking editing this podcast 2.5 years before I could even afford to have you do it, right? So I had to like learn some of these skills, put in some time, put out some videos that were not my best, you know?
Sure.
But the content and the context was able to kind of be enough to hold it that it's like, this is something worthwhile. And I knew that I wanted to keep getting it better. And so that's what it come around to like talking to you about it now is like, now that we've gotten to a point where we can start to monetize this a little bit more and make it something because it's starting to have real legs. Now, all of those reps that I put in, when I hand it off to you, I know exactly what I'm looking for when I bring it back.
Absolutely.
So to me, it was totally worth it. And to be able to work with you a little bit, because I know like you have the skill to do all the editing yourself. For me, it's more like, it's like with Jeremy when we were working here to build out our system for the gym. Like the first thing he said, one of the first things he said to me was like, John, what you do is great, but like, I can't follow it. It's all in your head. We need a process for it. And so it's like, yeah, we do. And now we have the TV with literally it's on the board right there. Like we have the ability to run our program and I can do it now where he knows exactly what's expected of him here on the floor. And I can take that step back, but it took a lot of effort and it took us time
Years
to build it out.
So what was your biggest challenge
in doing that?
Like, what was your biggest learning curve in doing this?
The podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, That's a good question.
Because you
Several different things.
you naturally
but, yeah.
speak
Well,
to people, you direct people, so you don't have
So that came a little more natural.
That was a natural thing.
The hardest part,
This part is easy.
this part
The
is
sitting
easy.
down and talking to people part is easy. We do that every
The
day.
back end engineering, really, like the stuff that I didn't have as many reps. Like I put my first video out at 15. I remember using Premiere tools and Adobe when I was in 9th grade. Okay. So I did like a VHS fucking tape that I whacked a bunch of things up on, and I probably still have it somewhere. Maybe I'll have to put it in this video. But doing that consistently until I got to a point where I felt like the quality was good was the hardest part.
Okay.
And now the hardest part is going to be, not that I am anticipating it, but it's kind of like you said, like views and stuff, like getting what we do in front of the right eyeballs.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the
Views,
challenge.
subscribers,
I won't even say it's going to be hard. I don't believe it's going to be hard. I don't know all the way how to do it yet. So as I can hand this off to you, guess what I can look at more is continuing to be able to like take this thing that we're all invested in and how do we like scale it so that more people can see it. Right. That's going to be the challenge, I believe, moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, for the amount of time that you've been doing this and the amount of gear that you've
I've invested a lot of money.
You've come a long way. You've learned quick.
Dude.
You know?
Absolutely.
And you did
I
a lot of
leveraged
it.
shit you taught me. I leveraged stuff that like I learned, but then YouTube too.
Yeah, you researched. You did work that most people don't want to do.
No, they don't.
You know,
this stuff is not the most fun, you know? And I don't mean that like just sitting and editing. It's not
Reading
the most,
manuals of cameras and figuring out how to get the light filter to work right, like the focus, right? We've had that issue.
That
like,
one, I've had a couple.
all these, like the little things. It's all the little things. And even, we've been doing it now for a while, but even setting it up today, we're like, well, no, this light, turn this, like just that. It's always like every single time we set up, there's something new.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing you guys can do, if you like the setup the way it is now, I know you have people coming in here, but you can literally take like blue painter's tape and put the X's where all the feet go for everything. So that you
1,000%. Right. Yes.
And then you're done.
Yeah.
You know, you can even take a tape measure and measure how high that is. If you like this height, you could take a tape measure and now, boom, now we know that goes 5 feet.
And then if I have like a book that writes all that down, should I have somebody else that has to do it? Be like, here you go. Here's exactly what I want. Set it up that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the playbook for this. Like the podcast playbook. Right. And that's the hardest part is writing the code and the process for it, because somebody else is going to have to do it. And you have to write it in such a way that, because like, oh yeah, I know how to do this. You're not the one that's going to continue to do it if you want to grow.
Yep.
And I do, we all do. Because the more I grow, the more we grow, the more money he makes, the more money you make, the more fucking money I make. Yeah. We all want to do that too, but also be a part of something. Like you got literally, I don't believe you two are sitting here just to make money. You guys actually really believe in what we're really, really doing here. No, right. It's not even coming in yet.
Money.
No, what money's coming in, right?
Money.
Well, it will, because we're going to have all these
make it.
amazing fucking sponsors coming in.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button. Come on now.
All these things. But
BetterHelp, man. That's
BetterHelp, all of these things. Like, let's go, Waterloo.
Health
let's get
Aid.
some kombucha, Whole Foods. Like, fucking hook it
Health
up.
Aid,
Like,
what's up?
Mountain Valley, yo, you really need to be the one that comes through here. We fucking love this water, so let's go.
you guys coffee drinkers?
Yes.
He's a coffee drinker. I'm a green tea guy.
There's so one of the guys that runs
Maybe I will be if they sponsor us.
a bunch of different podcasts at Gas Digital Studios in New York, has his own like coffee with nootropics in it as well. And people, I think it's called Body Brain Coffee. Okay. I would reach out to him because he's like a lower level, like not lower. I mean, they know what they're doing, but you could reach out to them and
I will
just
drink it while we're filming.
Let's go.
You know what I mean?
100%. I already have 14 drinks.
That's the thing. Like, it just kind of stinks that like a lot of companies out there are like, well, how many views do you get? And I understand. Like, why would I want to advertise on your thing if you're only getting 20 views? But I would love to think that a company like BetterHelp would want to allow you to do a BetterHelp ad because of you're doing the I am not okay stuff, but you're also helping people's physical and mental health by being in the gym and working out, because we all know that releases dopamine and all that fun stuff. And
That's a percent.
so everything you're doing is working towards mental health.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's
Now,
one of
certain
our main
companies might
focuses.
not align. I won't lie. Like BetterHelp, they're on. I've seen advertisements for them on TV. So they're at a place where they're clearly at a critical mass. We are a small fish. What I've learned is, and I'm okay with this, we would have sponsors if we were good enough to have sponsors. So I don't take that personally.
Sure.
And I know it's not just about views. And what I can say is the most recent podcast we put out fucking had our most views in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And you worked on it, and you worked on it, and I worked on it, and which means we're fucking getting better. That excites me.
Yeah.
And everyone we put out subsequently after that is going to get better.
Yeah.
When you get better, you put more reps in, then you become so good they can't deny you.
right.
That's the path we're on. So I'm not going to go chase it. It will find us.
Yeah.
We have a conversation yesterday about letting your play speak or something like that. Right?
Yeah. Maybe don't like say you're really, really good. Maybe
Just be good.
just be good and let your play say you're good.
Sure, yeah.
Like I have a young athlete that I know, I will not say their name, but somebody I love and care about very deeply, who's already out there basically saying like, I'm the man, I'm the best, I'm and it's like, you're 9 years old. You don't have all of the
Tools.
acumen and tools to be saying that yet. So I get why you're doing it, because you need a little bit of confidence. But really, the lesson that I learned is you don't speak about it, you be about it. Right? And so we're talking on the podcast, but in reality, you know how many hours I put into Coach's video alone? And it's not because I don't know how to fucking edit. It's because I wanted to get better. And Jeremy was like, John, what would our podcast look like if you were now as consistent at podcasting as you were in the gym? And so you challenge me that way, I'm going to fucking step up and I'm going to knock that shit out. And that's what I do. And he knows that. He knows the buttons to push on me and the questions to start asking. So it's like, well, let's find out.
Yeah.
And so I put over 50 hours into Coach's video alone. I know you put a shit ton of fucking hours into it. So that thing was one of our most hours. And guess what? I didn't give a fuck if I was wasting time. I didn't think about it. Was like, no, I want this fucking thing to be better. What else can I do with it?
It's not a waste of time if that's what you're doing.
Because I know where we're going to the next part of it. And when I saw the response to that video, that's why we're going to do it again. And we're going to remix that motherfucker. So that's coming out. By the time this one comes out, that will be like 10 in front of this one. So like check out all the videos. When you see this one, look at about the 10 to 15 in front of it, and you'll see the evolution of where we have come from and where we're going. That is exciting to fucking see. And I have no doubt the right people will see that then and be like, we do need to like talk to these guys. They're doing something different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what we're hammering out here. That's what I really believe the path we're on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So is there any other part of Justin's story that we left on the table, or?
No, man, I'm just so happy to be living where we're at.
You seem to, I can feel your energy is way different. You seem more regulated, calm, and forward leaning into your creativity.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I still get down in the dumps out there. I don't even know if it's depression or not, but it's just sometimes when you just get down.
And
you get knocked down.
Can you be high all the time? Like
no,
it'd be nice. But no.
And I've realized that too. Even with my people are like, "Oh, disc golf and weed go hand in hand." I'm like, sure, maybe during a casual round, but I've been noticing that if I'm really trying to be like on and I'm high, no, it doesn't work out very well. There's only a few times that for some reason, whatever I smoked put me in the alpha state, which is great, but I
can't rely on that.
If I could get like the weed, this is the alpha state weed, I'd grab it every time.
Right.
But like, nope.
Yeah.
So, I mean, honestly, I switched over to taking like 10 grams of creatine.
Ho.
And so I listened to Dr. Rhonda Patrick, and she is awesome. Everybody should listen to her.
Was it on a podcast?
She's her podcast.
She's quite a
interesting.
knowledgeable
She
person.
is so awesome. I first, of course, saw her on Rogan's podcast, but she has her own show. I mean, and she gets down to it. She just did a whole thing
She's
about
a nitty-gritty
freaking
type person.
Yeah, she got down
gets
to
into
receipt handling.
Yeah.
You should always wear gloves now, like latex gloves, if you are a person who is at the register a lot.
Okay.
The ink in those
get on your
it's
hands.
it's
and
disrupting
soaks.
the endocrine system.
Sure.
Literally, it's fucking killing testosterone and estrogen.
Yeah.
And so she like will tell people that. She'll be like, you should probably wear, like, she's like one of those, but she knows what she's talking about.
Right.
So she did a thing about creatine. And she was like, so your body only absorbs can only absorb like 5 grams of creatine, like to do what it's supposed to normally do. But when you up the dosage to 10, it for some reason decides to go, well, hey, we can actually put this up to the old noggin.
Got it.
So it does the 5 basically to the body, and then the rest of it is
Shoots
for
up top.
cognitive. And they're seeing like,
Taking all 10 at the same time.
yeah, and I just have a powder form. It's flavorless. I just put it in a glass of. They say 8 ounces, but I just drink the whole 16-ounce glass. I just pound it. It doesn't literally taste like nothing.
Yeah.
And I go, and then I can kind of like feel it. Oh, it's almost like a big
Sharpens you up a little
blast of coffee. Yeah, you could. I can almost see it in my vision.
That's interesting.
You know, like when you first, again, smoking weed, when you're not high, and then you take that hit, and then boom, you almost feel it go. And now your vision's a little different, and like, yeah, your eyes are heavier, but like, this was it was like a clarity. Like we are clear. Like things were sharper looking too, and I just felt more like in tune.
From cannabis to creatine.
Yeah, from cannabis to creatine. And then now I'm like, all right, cool. Now after like the tournament on Sunday, I will absolutely fucking be chiefing up, but not during it, not on my break. I realized that, yeah, I've played really well on that, but just lately I've kind of just tried to switch things up and, and use it more as a reward system.
Sure.
Because I know that as soon as I do love a nice 9 a.m. joint with my coffee. It's like this perfect thing sitting on my deck, looking out, beautiful forests and trees and my lawn and the sun and just like everything. It feels so great. But then now my motivation goes.
Yeah.
I literally I'll stand there and go, what do I want to do? And then I'm just staring at nothing. For a while, my dogs are looking at me like, what are you doing?
Come on, bro.
Let's go. We need to go somewhere.
I'm trying to think of what I want to do.
Yeah,
You know what we want to do? Let's go run.
That might be a Sunday morning, way to wake up. But, the rest of the week, we have to maybe take the creatine at 9 a.m. and
Right. And yeah, coffee and creatine.
and go that route. I wonder what is that like butter and
Dude, butter coffee.
Butter coffee,
Please,
yeah.
people, do more butter coffee. I just went back to it.
I generally drink my creatine right after I have coffee.
I meant literally put it in your coffee. But
You can do that too if you
I don't know
want.
if
You
that-
I have
won't.
so many other things in my coffee. I'm not putting that in.
Well, that's fine. Yeah. You two are coffee guys. I would drink matcha with you. Like if we were drinking, let's have our morning thing.
Matcha's good.
I would have like a matcha. That would be my stack, if you will.
Sure.
And I enjoy my marijuana later in the day as well. And I'm starting to even like less, and I like that. And it's it has its place, but its place isn't everywhere all the time.
No.
Always. And I can admit out loud that there were times where I was self-medicating. Who wasn't, but like you were saying, was that Mike, I think his name was, how he found like cannabis on that Natural Geographic thing. It was like that was actually a better move for him from fucking 18 pills and his litany of things that he was taking. So I think there's steps people need to take to find your thing that might assist you. But sometimes that thing might be creatine. Be willing to look there too.
Right.
I think that's fascinating. Do we have anything else you'd like to kind of pull off here? Is there anything else you want to tell the people that are going to be watching this? No?
Just find your passion.
Find your passion.
Just try to find your passion and put 100% into that if you can. Jack of all trades, a master of none. it's really hard to master a lot of things. Some people can do it. Some people are really good at switching from one thing to another and being very good at it. But sometimes it's just that it factor you got to find. And that will usually drive even better mental health for yourself, because now you're going to be happier. You're going to be hopefully more creative.
Well, for you is finding something, a creative pursuit to pour yourself into.
Absolutely. You know, and whatever that might be. I mean, if you do love being in a very like cubicle office and like that environment, awesome. But that's not for creative people a lot of the time. You don't have the creative outlet in an office because there are SOPs that you have to follow, and you can't really deviate from that.
Correct.
Right? There's no creativity. Here we have a bunch of creativity.
1,000%.
You know, we could, cut to one camera, not cut to a camera, add this graphic, not add that graphic, add some B-roll. Like, there's things you can do, and then afterwards we talk about it, and then what can we do better for the next thing?
But we do have SOPs in that, like, right here you have to put the X's on the floor to make sure it's this high. So, like, the standard operating procedure of setting it up, right, so that we can step back and be creative.
Absolutely.
So that, I think, is something that's interesting, and maybe that's a good place to end, is like
Learn the rules before you break them.
learn the rules before you break them. Understand that you are going to have to be disciplined enough to set up the foundation with which you can be creative from.
Yep. Discipline and passion.
Discipline and passion. Anything else?
It's a good place to end.
That's it.
Peace. See you
Thanks, guys.
Are you having a hard time fitting in? Same here. I am not okay. For the longest time, I was faking fine. I had to learn how to speak the unspoken and find my truth. If you are ready to find your truth, please comment below FINE, FINE, in all caps, and I'll send you the first step. Welcome to our community, where it's okay to not be okay. See you on the inside.